All right, there we go. Hey, what's up, everybody? How's it going? Let me get this camera right for everybody. All right, I think I got it right. All right. Give it a second. Let the people that want to come in, and then we're gonna chop this fable up and make sure we get all the things that's important out there. Give me a second. People in the back, give me a thumbs up and let me know if you can hear me or not. All right, there we go. All right, hey Ludine, hey Levita, how's it going? I need some glasses on this little writing I put up there today, but let's get into it. This is there's some information out there, and I'm going through my list because I've been taking notes all week. I've been taking notes and seeing what's important about your money. As always, I'm gonna start this off by saying everybody in your contact list, everybody that's watching, please, like, subscribe, and share this with 5 people in your contact list. It don't matter if they need the information today or if you think the information will help them today, but it will help them in the future. But just go on your contact list, hit that share button, and share it to 5 contacts in your contact list. Hopefully they subscribe later or subscribe now and join the party and getting into it. First thing up, and a lot of people won't hear about this, but it's called the de minimis exemption. So de minimis exemption, forget the Latin term and all that. What it is for forever. It's not before anything. For forever, people that bought stuff online from different countries or what have you. Jay, I see a sad face. What's going on? I don't know if it's. Can you hear me? All right, but anyway, for the de minimis exemption, low-cost goods has never had a tariff on it, no matter if the tariffs was on certain items, anything like that. And what de minimis meaning little to no impact to the U.S. government, or that's not what it means, but that's in layman's terms what it means. And what happened was, if anybody was ordering anything from China way off of Temu or something like that, it would not receive a tariff at all. But the Trump administration, they ended the de minimis. So what that means is every item that you order from Temu, Alibaba, or all those sites online is subject to tariffs. Now, right now, they got some things going on in the Supreme Court with if the tariffs are legal or not, or what have you. So I think it will be a big impact to small businesses, but it will be a big opportunity for people that want to do business with small businesses. What I mean is, and of course it's hot in here, so let me turn this head around. And yeah, I'm a Lions fan. You know what the season it is. I'm not like Cowboys fan. I ain't gonna sit here and say Super Bowl or bust, or we won one game last year and then it's a Super Bowl. But yeah, it's that time of year. I'm a Lions fan. But what this does is it gives an opportunity to people that so small businesses, they will go to like Temu, they will go to all these Alibaba and all these other websites, Tencent and all these other websites, to buy product, and then they would warehouse the product or bring the product in with little to no tariffs because of the de minimis law, and then they would sell it to the consumers. Of course, before, the tariffs was for big box, people that's hundreds of thousands of dollars of goods. Those are the people that was paying tariff. But with the exemption of the de minimis, everything whatsoever, I don't care if it's a paper clip from Taiwan, you're gonna pay a tariff on it. So you can look at it one way as a business owner and say, oh yeah, that screwed me, which is true. But for you as a solopreneur or somebody that just want to get into that landscape, or say, hey, this was something that I wanted to get into, but it's cheaper to produce in all of these foreign countries, This is your opportunity to do business with small business. This is a great opportunity to do business with small business, because if you have skills, tools, assets that's out there, you will be able to produce stuff that the small businesses want to sell at a fraction of the cost for you, but it will give you the profit margin to do business. So it sucks that this de minimis clause has been exempt. Has been exempt. Yeah, so it's ending, but it also provides opportunity for you Americans that live in America. If you do 3D printing, if you have nuances and skills that will translate to things that the small business is doing. Because of course, China, the Taiwans, the Vietnams, the Croatians and things like that, they used to produce the product for way cheaper than you can do it and get a profit. But now with the tariffs and things like that, it provides an opportunity. So we can all sit here and bitch and moan, complain about, hey, yeah, Trump stopped this. But I always look at the opportunities that it provides. I don't sit here and sit there, and I don't care who it is. It's not like, of course, everybody know how I feel about policy, but I'm always looking for opportunities. I found opportunities when Biden was in office. I still, and I will always believe, no president should dictate how an individual will live their life or what they can do in their life. So it's up to us to figure out the nuances, the loopholes, just like the rich people do, and then we figure it out and make it happen. What else out there? I'm gonna be jumping around on this list, so give me a second and bear with me. But again, put all your questions, comments, concerns in the chat. I'm gonna hit every last one of them. I promise I'm gonna hit every last one of them. So make sure you ask questions about that. All right, so this is another one that came out. And then, of course, again, I'm jumping from news and then I'm jumping from topics that I've seen out there. For investors or pretend investors or investors or people that think that there's opportunities out there somewhere. And this is something I'm going to tell you. I'm going to give you my real life subject advice of what I did and what I didn't do. So when the great financial crisis happened, and this well documented on this channel, I thought that unless you was an investor, you cannot give me investment advice. That was what I thought back in GFC. I didn't know what I didn't know, but I was like, okay, I'm only talking to investors. And then I remember a soldier came up to me, and I was in Mosul, Iraq, and then a soldier came up to me and said, hey man, you need to buy gold, because they know I just started getting into investment. And then at the time, gold at the time was about $7.85 an ounce. And then I ignored it. I was like, oh, I'm not listening to him. He's not an investor. He don't know what he's doing. And then what happened is, years later, I saw gold sitting at about $1,300 an ounce. And then I proceeded to buy it. And then look at today, we over $3,000 an ounce. So what I'm saying in that is, and then I have a lot more stories, so bear with me, is the best investment advice will not come from people that's in the investment world. Let me say that again. The best investment advice will not come from people that's in the investment world. So now, remember, this is 2008, during the financial crisis. This soldier tell me about gold. But let's fast forward it to 2010, 2011. Carl Fields. Some people will know who he is, but some people won't. But he was the regional commander for Ghazni Province when I worked for the State Department. He knew fuck all about investing. He knew a damn thing about investing. But what he did know was what was going on. So I remember sitting there talking to him, and he's a video game guy. He sit there and play all the computer video games and what have you. I'm not a video person at all. And then he just came out of his room one day and just said, hey, Kirby, I know you're into investing. You need to invest in NVIDIA because they got all the chips. Now, at the time, I looked it up when he said it. NVIDIA was probably at $7 a share, and this is pre-split. You know, for people that know, this is Nvidia just did a split a couple months ago, but this was pre-split. And then I saw AMD at like, you know, like $2 pre-split. And then the thing was, he told me this information, and then I said, what the hell do he know about investing? He played video games. And I 100% ignored it. I'm going to tell you the flaws that I had. I 100% ignored the information. And then now fast forward 10 years later, 12 years later, that same stock that he told me to invest in at $7 a share is like $1,500 a share. And that is what I mean by people. And I heard, and the first time I ever heard this, and it didn't correlate with me and me having a understanding, was in Robert Kiyosaki's book, Rich Dad Poor Dad. It said the best investment advice will come from people that don't know nothing about investing. And in the book, they're talking about how people are complaining about gas prices. Instead of them investing in oil fields and oil companies and things like that, they just kept complaining. But the play was to invest in oil companies. And then that's when, after, of course, years later, that I realized Carl Fields was right. And, you know, God rest his soul now, because he passed away from some combat incidents overseas. That is the way to play it. It's a lot of ears and eyes telling you what's going on. The thing is when you hear it, you can't dismiss it. You just got to be like, okay, I heard that. Now let me find a way to benefit from it. Not all the information is not going to be good, but the people that's complaining is the one where the winners are winning. Let me say it again. The people that's complaining is where the winners are winning. So when you hear about gas prices and things like that, it's the oil companies that's winning. When Carl told me, yeah, man, they charging me so much money for this laptop to play these, laptops at this time, 10 years ago, $2,000-$3,000 to have a gaming laptop, and it's because it's an NVIDIA chip. I had no clue. But he's complaining, but NVIDIA is winning. And then now look at it, fast forward, NVIDIA is the same company that's in automotives. NVIDIA is the same company that's leading the AI charge. That's what it is. So the best information is not going to come from investors. It's going to come from people that's complaining about the pressure that they feeling from the cost that they got to pay. And so just wanted to throw that out there. So don't dismiss any information, because I just gave you 2 instances where I could have made a lot more money if I just listened to people, not listen to them, but actually did the homework on the information that they gave me. So don't dismiss any information if they're in the game or not. But of course, all the investors are going to be in the same realm that I'm in. Is well, the investor said this, then it's got to work. But the thing is we're not looking at everything. So always keep your ears and eyes open to all the opportunities that's out there. Hey, Mark, how's it going? What else out there? Of course, we hear Space Force moving to Alabama. That was another one that was out there. Space Force is moving to Alabama. It was in Colorado. And then for all the people that's bitch, moaning, crying, and complaining, the DOD report always said, even when Biden was in office, that Alabama Red Arsenal, I believe that is the base that was there. That was the most strategic place for the military base to be for the Space Force. But Biden ignored it and then left it in Colorado. So now that is moving to Alabama. Could it be real estate opportunities there? Yes. Will that bring more revenue, and will that bring more economic stimulation to the area? Yes. But don't sit there and bitch, moan, and complain, because trust me, Colorado got a lot of military bases there that will be doing just fine where they're at. So I just wanted to point that out. And this is coming from somebody that's dealt with a lot of parts of the military, the Department of Defense, and all that. So don't sit there and bitch, moan, and complain about that. What else we got over here? And don't forget, ask any question you want to ask, like, share, and all that stuff. Do all that stuff. I'm trying to hit all the things that's out there going on right now. All right, minimum wage. I know some people from New York that's in this chat, so let's chop this up. I am, and I'm gonna say it again, I am not a proponent of raising minimum wage. Now, and again, put all your hate mail in the comments, but let me explain why. The reason why I am not a fan of raising the minimum wage is because I study history. And when I say I study history, that don't mean politicians don't study history. What that means is I study history, politicians study history, but they know that their constituents and the people that are voting don't study history. Raising the minimum wage is the worst thing that you can do. All right, I'm going to say it again for the people in the back. And again, put your hate mail in the front. Raising the minimum wage is the worst thing that a government can do. I'm pausing on purpose because I want people to, hit up the chat and tell me, how I'm so wrong. But the reason why I'm saying this is, again, study history. Now, I'm just going to go back. I'm not going to go back, 20, 30 years. I'm just going to go back in the last 5. All right, Florida, the state that I live in, the state that I'm in right now, they raised minimum wage from $7.50 to $15 an hour. That is a 100% increase. And then people that follow this channel for a while, and you can go back and look in the catalog that we have, I always said I disagree with raising the minimum wage from $7.50 to $15 an hour. And the reason why is because when everybody knows you're getting a pay increase, everybody is coming to take that money. So what I said is, if you can't survive and live off $7.50 an hour at minimum wage in Florida, when the time comes and we get to $15 an hour minimum wage, you will not survive. And you will not be able to afford to survive at $15 an hour. Now, fast forward, 2026 is upon us. Minimum wage is already $15 an hour. And people that make $15 an hour minimum wage in the state of Florida cannot afford to survive in Florida. And this is why. When everybody knows that you're making more money, everybody's coming to get it. And I just said it. But what I mean by that is your landlord right now know. So let's just act like the minimum wage is still $7.50. Your landlord right now knows that you make $7.50 an hour. Now the law passed and it shows that you're making $15 an hour. This is what the landlord, and I'm telling you because I am one of them. This is what the landlord's thinking. Okay, this person just doubled their income. Now I can sit here and say, oh, I'm going to charge them $500 a month. But they're making more money. If I don't get the money, then they're going to give it to everybody else. They're going to give it to the fast food restaurants. They're going to give it to the car dealerships. They're going to give it to everybody else. So I might as well get the money because I'm dealing with something that's most prevalent in their life, meaning shelter, than all those other things. And then now you look at Florida today. And everybody, feel free, go Google. You make $15 an hour. Let's do some math right here. I'm going to do the math right here in front of you. I didn't pre-math it. $15 an hour times $40, times 40 hours is $600 a week. Times 4 weeks. That's $2,400. Understand, when you go into rent a place, it's 3 times the income. So let's divide that $2,400 a month by 3. So the only thing that you can afford now is an $800 a month apartment. So now anybody that's in the cheap seats or in the back, tell me where in Florida where you can afford where they're listing apartments for $800 a month. 1 bedroom, studios, anything. They're not. And why? And the reason why I'm saying you need to make 3 times the income, because that is the stipulation to rent a place. You need to make 3 times whatever the rent is to rent. So if you make $15 an hour, you need to, the only thing that you can afford, that's $2,400 a month. The only thing that you can afford is an $800 a month apartment. Where are they making those at in Florida? Only thing that happened is their income was raised, which everybody knew about, and then everybody went and strived and took to try to get their piece of the pie before everybody else took it. That's how it works. So when the people in New York talking about we're going to raise it to $30 an hour, it's not going to do them no benefit. It's going to do the people who have assets benefit. It's going to be the people like me in New York who say, okay, the unemployment rate went up to, I mean, not the unemployment, but the minimum wage went up to $30 an hour. That's 100% increase. So now we're going to raise our rents 100%. And then the people that was on a struggle bus at $15 an hour is going to be on a struggle bus at $30 an hour. But this is the caveat. So, but the people that's making $30, $31 an hour today before the minimum wage get increased, they're not going to make more money. So now they've been sucked down into the can't affordability camp also. That is what happened in Florida. That's what happened in California when they raised the fast food workers to $20 an hour. Only thing that happened was less fast food workers had jobs, and then the cost of living just went up where more people can't afford it. So when everybody want to run to say, let's raise the minimum wage, it sounds cute. But it's more victims than winners in that situation. And I guarantee you, all the winners are the people that already own assets before this happened. So just want to point that out. And then, again, comment in the comment section, and we can hit on that whenever. Another thing that was out there, and we're going to stick to the unemployment rate obstacle. And then so I told this to somebody, and I was saying, I'm not a fan that everybody knows that you're making more money. And then, when I was talking about raising the minimum wage, and then she said, well, what are you supposed to do? I said, build skills, and build skills. And then I'm going to explain that real quick. So now, going to the same situation, if they raise unemployment and everybody know unemployment is raised, so people are going to come after your money. But now think about it. If you stay in an apartment right now and you paying $500 a month, anywhere in the world, anywhere in the United States, I don't know where it's at, but let's just use that. But you already signed your lease with the landlord, what have you. And then you go build your skills. For people that don't know, it's people that, maybe work in an office, Excel is free on the internet. You can learn everything about Excel, macros, SQL, building databases, all for free on YouTube and all these platforms is out there. You build your skills and then you level up in your organization and you get paid more money. The landlord don't know you make more money. The only time a landlord will know you make more money if you level up and then you get a pay increase at your job. This is what we do. What we'll do is we leveled up and we made more money. We pay $500. We living comfortable. Oh no, I make more money now. I need to go to a $1,200, $1,500 place. And then now the landlord knows how much you make, and they're going to make you pay for that. But if you stay at that same $500 a month apartment, you make more money, you get to set money to the side to do X, Y, and Z, and you still pay the $500, nobody knows you made more money. But the problem is, we got to let everybody know, oh, look at me, I leveled up, I got to do bigger and better. That's not the true and reality of life. You can do that, but then there's going to be people that's going to take advantage of it. I still remember when 50 Cent said after his Get Rich or Die Trying tour, he said, I had $5 million in the bank and I was still living in an $800 a month apartment. The landlord didn't know he was making $5 million on the tour. They was basing it off of who he was before he became the artist. So we have to start taking advantage of the system so people like me don't take advantage of you. Let me say that again. We have to start taking advantage of the system before people like me take advantage of you. Because that's all they're doing. People that own assets, we're looking at where your money is coming from. We're looking at how you're making money. And if you're making more, we rather take it from you before you go give it to somebody else. So if you don't want to be on my side of the aisle and own assets, you better you better understand how to manipulate this whole situation. All right. I got so many notes on here, but it's only going to be so many I hit. For the people that's out there that's looking for homes, mortgage decrease is the biggest mortgage rate decrease. It's at 6.2%. 6.2%. This is the lowest mortgage decrease in one day. That happened on Friday, especially when the jobs number came out and it showed that we only added about sub 20,000 jobs for the month of August. So the mortgage rate has dropped drastically, but the problem is the price of homes are still the same. Again, it's still a buyer's market. It's still a buyer's market. And when I mean by it's a buyer's market, that don't mean, hey, whatever price you have it listed at, that's the price I'm not going to pay. What I mean is it's a buyer's market, meaning whatever price you have it listed at, I know I can get a less price on it. Now, it's not much. I mean, there's some wiggle room depending on where you're going and what you're looking at. But if you still paying list price for properties, shame on you. And people that's been watching this channel for a long time, they know I am never a fan of buying list properties. I don't care if it's in a buyer's market or a seller's market. But now that it's in a buyer's market, I'm going hell of a discounts now. But if you're looking for a house, this is your time to shine. If you're waiting for the mortgage rate to get down to 4%, 3% or something like that, then you're going to pay a substantial amount of more for that property, and then you screwed yourself. But you have the wiggle room to negotiate. I don't care if it's a traditional deal, seller finance deal, subject to deal, assumption deal. You have room to negotiate. So if you want a house, negotiate. Let's do that. And going back to the payroll number came out Friday, and it's 22,000 jobs was added for the month of August. Currently, right now, today, there are more people that are on collecting unemployment benefits than there are of job openings in the United States. There are more people collecting unemployment benefits than there are job openings. And again, that's only unemployment benefits. That's not the people that exhausted their unemployment benefits. That's not the people that's unemployed that's not collecting benefits. So we're in a hard times place. So y'all, for the people that thought during COVID, during COVID, where you can, jump jobs because there wasn't a lot of employees out there and you can do that and leverage up, salute to you. But just know that jobs are not hiring at the pace that they was back in the COVID days. So if you got a job, hold on to it. That's all I'm going to say about that. If you got a job, hold on to it. And I've talked to many people offline about different avenues and different people that I know that have left jobs in one place and thought that they can pivot and shift to another job in this economic environment right now, and they are still unemployed. So understand that. So hold on to your jobs out there. Other things out there. Spirit Airlines for y'all Spirit Airlines travelers. Spirit Airlines has they have filed bankruptcy for the second time in a year. Do that mean Spirit Airlines will not be running? No. They filed Chapter 11. They're going to reorganize and try to do it again, and then I believe they're going to file bankruptcy again. But for the Spirit Airlines people out there, they have stopped a lot of flights that they have going on right now. And they probably try to reorganize and do it again. But I think that ship has sailed for Spirit Airlines. What else we got? I know that the Powerball. The Powerball is up to about $2 billion or something dollars. I don't know what it is. Y'all know how I feel about, for the people that's been watching this channel for a while, playing the lottery. I believe that the lottery is a tax on the poor. If you look in poor neighborhoods itself, that you see more places that do the lottery than more well-off neighborhoods. But I'm gonna be honest, $2 billion. Hey, if you're gonna take that gamble, take that gamble. This is the time to take the gamble. When it's only like at $1 million, fuck that. But if you're gonna take the gamble, take the gamble. Um, but I am not a fan of the lottery. But I mean, $2 billion, $2 billion. If you get lucky, I ain't saying go put your life savings on it. But if you got $2, I ain't mad at you. That's all I'm gonna say. But I 100% disagree with thinking the lottery, using the lottery as a way to get rich, because or get rich or get wealthy or figure out your financial future. That is the stupidest way to do it. Because if you think about it, especially if you look at your grandma, grandpas have been paying lottery since they was 20 and now they 70 and they still in the same position. Just think if you put all that money and allocated it towards something that actually made sense, investment, rental property, business or whatever, they would have made a lot more money than sit there chasing the holy grail of the lottery. And trust me, people, I'm from Detroit. I know a lot of people that has played the lottery since they was in their 18s to 20s. So, but $2 billion, $2 billion. If you say, hey, I bought a ticket because it's $2 billion, I ain't gonna sit there and berate you for it. I got a lot more stuff on this list. I didn't know which way it was gonna go with all these notes I got, but I'm gonna start hitting these topics that we got in the comment section because I don't want to miss out on there. Jordan, I don't understand what you mean federal or state government wise. If you're talking about unemployment, that is the New York is state, Florida is state, federal government is still low, but I disagree with raising the minimum wage on the federal or state level, because again, once you know, once everybody know what I mean, everybody, I mean the people that own assets already know that you're making more money, we're coming to take your money. That's why you don't see when the when the minimum wage rise, you don't see people that own assets say, oh no, don't raise the minimum wage. You see small business owners who have to pay these workers and they know they're going to have to get rid of workers, the ones that are saying it. Many medium-sized businesses, but it's not the people that own assets and the large businesses saying it. Because we know if you go from minimum wage $7 an hour and then you go to minimum wage $14 an hour, that means we just made $14 an hour, not you as an employee. Because your rent is going from $500 a month to $1,000 a month. And only thing you have to do is study history. Look at Florida. That was the most recent one. Look at California. They can raise it all they want to, but the people with assets will be the ones that end up with the money. So if you're a person that believes, oh, well, I believe they need to raise unemployment, well, hell, I agree with you. I mean, minimum wage, I agree with you. Go make more minimum wage so I can make more money because I own the assets. But me, I'm telling you as a person that will win in these situations, you don't want it to happen. You want to individually on yourself, build your skills, and move up the corporate ladder. Because nobody knows you're making more money unless you tell them. But if it's world-renowned announced, then the people with assets the one that win. Just look at the GFC. I mean, not the GFC. Look at COVID. The government printed $4.5 trillion. Yeah, the people that was in the middle class and the lower class, they balled out for a couple weeks. But that $4 trillion came to the people that had assets. That's where the money went. So now the poor is still the poor. The middle class, they didn't got poor. And the people with assets, they're the ones that's winning. Because we know you got money. Stop following the same narrative that your parents and your grandparents followed. Stop sitting here begging the government to help you. It's time to help yourself. That's how it all works out. All right, so what else we got? Jordan, federally, nationally. All right, nowhere there's not even doing in Detroit nowhere they're not even doing that in Detroit, and we make $9.75. Get your skills up. That's it. Get your skills up. The internet is free. Well, besides you paying Wi-Fi, but the internet is free. Get your skills up. And I'm not talking to Jordan. I'm talking to everybody. Get your skills up. You can sit here and literally learn how to create databases in SQL. You can learn how to create databases in Access. You can learn how to create macros, and the same thing, the automation, the same thing that these corporations using to eliminate workers. You can learn that just with YouTube. But no, we want to know the TikTok dances. We want to know the next hip hop video. We want to be cool. Cool ain't gonna pay the bills. Love ain't gonna pay the bills. Ain't nothing else gonna pay the bills but money. So if you're not leveling up and trying to find out how to make more money without the government's help, because if the government help you, that means they just help me. And I hate to sound so callous, but that's the real reality of it. I only go buy assets. I don't go sit there and buy cars to be cool. I don't go sit there and buy houses and multiple houses that I can live in just so I can say, hey, look at me. I buy assets. So when the government do what I know they're going to do, and that's bend to the will of people that don't understand what's going on, when they give them more money, that means I get more money. I'm just giving you the raw truth. You're probably not liking the message that I'm saying, but that is the raw truth. When you think you're winning, I am the actually one that's winning. So if you thinking that the government is the one that's supposed to help you, I am winning. The only way you get over on a person like me is by you leveling your skills up, you getting promotions outside of the government and not telling me about it. And the reason why I'm so open and I can say this, because I know 99% of people ain't going to do it. But that is the secret on how you get over people with assets. You stay quiet, you level up, you keep using your income, making more money, and then you still stay in a low cost that they believe that you're in. But if you just want to be free, open to information, hey, yeah, I just got a job promotion. Oh, then you mean the rent just increased? That's what you're saying. So you can play the game if you want to, but I'm letting you know how to get over. But I'm so easy with it. I'm so free to say it. It ain't gonna affect me because I know 99% of people ain't gonna listen in the first place. I'm still gonna be fine. And I'm gonna have this conversation again 20 years from now, 30 years from now, because people believe that there's some secret sauce, and you just heard the secret sauce. And I'm not talking about Jordan, I'm talking about everybody, you still not going to listen and you're going to believe what you hear on TV. But now let's get to the next one. Terry Ward, makes sense. Makes sense to me. I wish you hit more on that. How about everybody want a raise, but customer service suck? Yeah, I mean, I believe that. Customer service suck. I mean, people that know me, I go out all the time. I used to go out all the time. I used to go out 2-3 times a week to, frequent restaurants. I mean, that's been few and far in between now. It's because, yeah, the prices has increased. The tip culture has got damn insane, and the service has gotten worse. And me, I've always tipped more than the minimum. Sometimes I've tipped over the maximum if the service was spectacular. But the service has gotten terrible, and then they still want money. Sucks to be you. I don't play in that life. But yeah, I agree with that. Jordan, what is the most important advice you can give for negotiating? The most important advice that I can give for negotiating is whatever your number is, you always start off lower than that number. So let's just keep the number small. Let's say somebody has something that, and this goes for everything universal. I don't care if it's business. I don't care if it's real estate. I don't care if it's something on marketplace. So let's say they have something for $200. Your number is let's say your number is $175. That's what you can afford. The first offer you should give is $125 or $100. And then when they say no, because that's what you're expecting, but now if they say yes, great. But if they say no, then you come up to $175. It looked like you gave way to them, and then they can come down a little bit to come to that number. But if you just sit there and say $175, that's my final offer, they're going to say no. So whatever your number is, you always start at a lower number to negotiate. So it looks like you gave way to the upside of what they wanted to do. Hopefully that works for you. I'm in support of raising, Jordan saying I'm in support of raising minimum wage federally but statewide. After seeing it happen in Detroit from 9.25 to 9.75, it wasn't much difference. I think I spoke enough about minimum wage, so I'm not going to do that. Hey, Sabi, hi, Jordan. That makes sense. But yeah, so those are the different things out there. Now let me go into the stock market. I hit all the questions. Let me hurry up and finish chopping this fable. Stock market wise, Oscar, OSCR. I talked about that a couple weeks now. Oscar right now is at 1943. We talked about Oscar when it was in the $14, $15 range, and then all right, that was 20-30% increase that you could have had if you was in there. And again, I'm not saying follow me blindly. I'm saying do your research, do your homework, yada, yada, yada. Just like I talked about last week, I was looking at UPS, and I did tell you that I was going to play the options long-term on UPS. I believe T. Horsey pointed that out, and I proceeded to do that this week. And then I bought Leap options, which I talked about on UPS, and currently I'm up a couple percent. Let me see what the percentage is. I'm up total on that play. I'm up about 1% or so. I think it could be more than that. Let me see. Oh, actually, I'm up 10%. Sorry, excuse me, my bad. I'm up 10% on that play on UPS. But somebody gave me a call on Monday also before I put on a UPS play, and I did the same thing. Bought Leaps on Target. But do your homework. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you every strike price and stuff that I did. Do your homework. But I did play the Target play on Leaps 2027, and I'm at even. I'm actually up $5. I'm actually up $5 on that play, but I still got a long ways to go. The SoFi trade is still on. I do have cover call options at $40 strike price because I believe that's where my exit at. But I'm still buying SoFi on dips even till this day. So that is out there. The real estate market, like I said, is still a buyer's market. For the people that's just playing the SPYs, the QQQs, and playing the ETF space, I am 100% a fan of. And I was just at a salon. I know y'all looking like you ain't even got no hair. What the hell you doing at salon? But yeah, I get waxed. So I was at the salon. I was talking to people at the salon, and then I said, hey, if you gonna invest, you invest now, and then when times get bad, you invest more. And people looked at me crazy, like, oh, shouldn't it be the opposite way? I said, no, it should be when times get bad, you invest more. And that's the way that you should play it. So if you SPY and you putting in $300 a month, $500 a month, and then you hear the news media saying the world's coming to an end, and you hear the stock market going down 10, 15%, 20%, 30%, you need to stop every damn thing you're doing, and you need to put all your stuff in the SPYs and the QQQs or whatever ETF that you're playing for the long-term game. So the worse the economy gets, the more you need to invest. Like Warren Buffett said, that's when you should start buying, when there's blood in the streets. But the problem is most retail investors, most everyday people, they don't want to invest until, everybody say the coast is clear and then the market's rising. But by the time they tell you the coast is clear and the market is rising, you already missed out on 100, 200% in the market. Again, you want to invest when times are bad, or you want to invest more when times are bad. When times are good, you just want to keep dollar cost averaging. And I say this all the time. I've said it in many iterations out there. When times get bad in the economy, my family do clamp down on our spending, but it's not clamping down on our spending because we worried about how we're going to pay for the lights. We clamping down on our spending because we're putting more than we already putting in the market. I've talked many a time, 80% of our income goes into investing. That's now. When times get bad, my kid gonna be on Juicy Juice or something because he damn sure ain't gonna be at the restaurants. That ain't happening. Every dollar that I can, we can go from steak to ramen noodles. Every dollar that I can find that I could turn over that I can leverage will go into the market to buy depressed assets. If you're not doing that, shame on you. I'm just letting you know what my family doing. And then when we come on the other side of it, don't sit here and be mad at me, because now I gave you the blueprint on what to do. I'd rather my family suffer during bad times, even though we can afford it. I'd rather them suffer so we can invest so they can live better in good times. And then again, their suffering is not, hey, we gonna be sitting there in the gutter. Their suffering is just, hey, we can't do what we normally did. Because every dollar that we normally did, we using it to invest. That's how we win. That's what we've done ever since 2008 when we started investing. And it hasn't changed one iota. So if you want to win, do what winners do. If you want to lose, keep doing historically what you've seen your family do over history if you want to lose. Winners win, losers lose. Start finding out what winners do and start doing that instead of just following the generational curse that your family already had. But with that, I see there is no more questions, comments, concerns. And I'll see you in the next video. Y'all have a good one. And if you knew better, you'll do better. So start doing better, because this channel will help you know better. Y'all have a good one. See you next time.